Hello, my dear students. I hope all of you are doing good today. Are you all ready for the class? Okay, then let's get started. Today, we are going to discuss on the poem On Killing a Tree. This is actually a continuation of the last class. In the last class, we have already discussed about first stanza and second stanza of this poem. So in this class, we will go to the third stanza and the fourth stanza. I'm sure you know the poet. It is Gieve Patel. In the last class, we already mentioned about him. He's an Indian poet. He's a physician. He's a painter. So you are familiar with Gieve Patel. So in this class, let's go to the last two stanzas of the poem. We will start with the third stanza, and the stanza goes like this. So listen carefully as I read it. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. So that is how the third stanza goes. Let's see what it means. The first line goes like this. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. So this is the beginning of the third stanza. But how did the second stanza end? The poet was actually telling about chopping and hacking the tree. And he said, simply by chopping and hacking will not kill a tree. So the first word no means no, we cannot kill a tree by simply chopping and hacking. And in the remaining lines, the poet says how exactly you should kill a tree. How is it? The root is to be pulled out. So you can kill a tree only by pulling out the root. And from where? Out of the anchoring earth. So the root is actually inside the earth. So you have to pull the roots out from the earth in order to kill a tree. We'll go to the next line. It is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave. So what is the poet trying to tell here? If you have tried plucking a plant, it is easy. But is it so easy to pluck a tree? Can you simply pull the tree out from the ground? No, it is not possible. So you need an external effort to pull a tree out from the earth. That is why the poet is saying it is to be roped and tied. As you see in the picture, you can see a rope is being tied to the tree and it is being pulled out. So this is what the poet means. So the tree has to be roped and it has to be tied in order to pull out. It has to be snapped out, or you have to pull it out entirely from the earth cave. So the root is inside the earth. And here the earth cave, please look into the words carefully. What do you mean by cave? Cave is actually a home. Our ancestors used to live in caves. So cave stands for home. So here, cave is a home, and earth cave, what does that mean? The root is actually inside the earth. So the earth was actually acting as a cave for the roots of the tree. So you are pulling the roots out from its home, which is the earth. So that is why the poet have used earth cave here. The earth is actually acting as a home to the roots. And in the next line, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. So here the poet is talking about the strength of the tree, and he says roots are the strength of the tree. And as we can see in the picture, when you pull the tree out, the root will also come out. It is exposed now. It is no more under the earth. It is exposed. So, and the strength of the tree is exposed means the roots are exposed. The source white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. So the roots are strong, they are the strength of the tree, but at the same time, the poet says that it is the most sensitive part of the tree. So the roots are the strength of the tree. At the same time, they are the most sensitive part of the tree. And the roots were inside the earth for so many years. It was hiding there. It is sensitive, it is wet, it is white. So it was staying inside the earth for so many years. And now it is being pulled out. It is exposed to the outside. Now we will go to the difficult words that you came across in this third stanza. The first one is pull out. What do you mean by pull out? It means to pluck. The second word is snapped. What do you mean by snapped? It means a sudden break. And the last word is sensitive. What is sensitive? Easily hurt or tender. So I hope you understood the meaning of pull out, snapped, and sensitive. Now we will go to the next stanza. This is the last stanza. The stanza goes like this. Listen carefully as I read. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. So in the last stanza, he is saying, when the roots are pulled out and the entire tree is exposed, what happens? It is scorching and choking. So when the roots come out, it does not get water. So it is scorching and choking, and it becomes brown. So it is actually getting decayed. So when the tree is getting decayed, there will be change in color for the bark of the tree. So it will become dark brown. And hardening, of course, when the tree starts to wither, the bark of the tree will become very hard. It will get hardened. It will be twisting and withering. Withering means to decay, and slowly the tree will die. And then it is done. What do you mean by done? It is killing, or it is dead. So finally, when you pull the tree out and expose it like that, it will take few years or few days. It will be browning, it will be hardening, it will be twisting and withering, and finally the tree will be dead. So this is what the poem was about. And you will see the hard words here. Scorching. What do you mean by scorching? Scorching means very hot. Choking means unable to breathe. Withering means tending to destroy or devastate. And hardening means become hard. So I hope you understood this well. Now we will listen to the poem.
On Killing a Tree by Gieve Patel. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again to form a size. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely, out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth, then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done.
So now you heard the poem well. Now we will look into what are the poetic devices that is being used in the poem. The first one is personification. The second one is metaphor. The third one is repetition. And the last one is alliteration. So let's see where these devices are used. First one is personification. It means giving human qualities to animals or objects. Where do we find personification in this poem? Let's see that. In the first stanza, kill a tree. Here, usually, killing is denoted to human beings which have life, but tree is actually an object. So, here, by using kill along with a tree, you are actually giving human qualities to a tree. You are actually, in real life, we say cutting a tree, but the poet has used kill instead of cut. Hence, the tree is being personified here. And the next device is metaphor. What is a metaphor? A metaphor is comparison of two or more unlike things without using the words like or as. So, in the poem, the first stanza, leprous hide, is a metaphor. Leprous is actually a disease, and here leprous is being used to denote the bark of the tree. So hence it is a metaphor. It denotes the bark of a tree. It is direct comparison between the leprosy patient's hand to that of the tree. In the second stanza, bleeding bark is used. So the bleeding of a human wound is being compared to the bleeding bark. When you hit a tree, you can see that it bleeds. It doesn't bleed blood, but it bleeds a liquid. Just like how you get blood when you cut your fingers. So the human cut and the bleeding is being compared to the bleeding bark. Hence it is a metaphor. The third device that is being used is repetition. Repetition is the repeating of a particular sound device to create an effect. It is to create emphasize. A poet may repeat words or lines within the poem. So we will see where repetition is being used in this poem. In the third stanza, you can see pulled out is being used 3 times in the same stanza. So here the entire theme of the poem is killing a tree. So the answer to that question, how can you kill a tree, being emphasized here? By pulling out the tree from its root, you can kill a tree. So this pulling out being emphasized 3 times in the same stanza, and hence it is a repetition. Now coming to the last poetic device being used, it is alliteration. It is the repetition of the consonant sounds in the same line or in the same verse. So let's see. In the second stanza, you can see bleeding bark. B sound or the B sound is being repeated there. And in the third stanza, white and wet, here the W is being repeated. V sound is being repeated there. So I hope you understood that. So let's move to a small activity. Now we will see how much you have learned. So are you ready? Okay, then let's get started. So here we have few questions. The first one is, what is to be pulled out of the angering earth? So from the poem, what do you think is to be pulled out? Is it the rock? Is it the knife? Is it the soil? Or is it the tree? It is the tree. We will see if it is correct. Yes, that is the tree. So the tree is to be pulled out from the anchoring earth. The second question is, what is being exposed? Is it the weakness of the tree? Is it the leaves? Is it the strength of the tree or the bark of the tree? The strength of the tree we will see. Yes, it is the strength of the tree that is being exposed. And the next question. The tree is to be pulled out of the earth cave. Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. Let's check. Yes, it's correct. The tree is to be pulled out from the earth cave according to the poet. And next question is, what according to the poet is the most sensitive part of the tree? Is it the bark? Is it the roots or the leaves? What do you think is the most sensitive part of the tree according to the poet? Well, let's see if it is roots or not. Yes, it's correct. So according to the poet, roots are the most sensitive part of the tree. Moving to the next question. Comparing two or more unlike things without using the words like or as. Is it a metaphor or a simile? What do you think? Let's try metaphor. Let's check it. Yes, it's metaphor. So metaphor is comparing two or more unlike things without using the words like or as. So I hope you understood the poem pretty well. You answered the questions correctly. I hope you guessed the answers rightly. So now we are moving on to the next slide. This is the conclusion. So I'm going to give you a work that you can do after this class. You can sit and do it whenever you want. So the work or the activity is, imagine that you are the tree in the poem. Write a letter to humans expressing your feelings. So in this poem, what was the tree undergoing? We are actually cutting the tree, right? We are talking about pulling the tree, chopping the tree. So imagine that you are the tree being discussed in this poem. So what will be your feelings? So you can write a letter to humans expressing your feelings. You can say that you are undergoing a stress, you are sad. You can highlight the things that you have done to the humans. Imagine that you are a tree, and please write a letter to humans and bring it in the next class. I hope you all understood the poem well. If you have any doubts, please do tell me. Thank you for your patience. Have a nice day.